I I think what is a unique opportunity in this digital transformation era is to be able to work with international experts like you guys are and embed all that knowledge that you have from very complex sectors into concrete applications. I mean, when we say an app, doesn't mean an app that you just download. It means an entire architecture that benefits individuals or organizations because they can download in their mobile phones. So the beauty of this WISeTravel project is that sits on the WiseKey infrastructure. I mean, I didn't introduce properly WiseKey at the beginning, but just to say that one of the things WiseKey is unique in the world now is that the private key, the cryptographic root key that you need to issue a digitally signed identity, it's now downloaded into 5,000 million devices, operating systems, Apple, Android, all of them, they are hosting already the WiseKey root key. This is in the last 22 years. The cryptographic root key, by the way, is owned by a foundation, a Swiss foundation, in order to isolate the business from the trust model. And when we create an app which requires a public key, so you need two, and you need the private key and the public in order to open the vault, the data, as you will do in a bank. The public key can be downloaded through the form of an app. But this app immediately benefits from the distribution because all the operating system, all the browsers, all of the existing windows to the internet recognizes the WiseKey cryptographic root key. So that's what makes those projects very successful, because from day one, you are immediately trusted, not yet by the international organizations because you don't need, but by the operating system, which are the windows we use to access the internet. So WiseTravel is an extension of that identity management platform that we have been developing, focusing now on the needs of the tourists, the people on there are going to take planes, and they're going to have to, by taking a plane, being able to certify themselves and show their identities and work with the IATA interoperable identity infrastructure that Pascal is building in order to be internationally recognized. Because obviously when I take a plane, my identity has to be recognized not only in the country I am living, but also in the country I am landing. And that requires international interoperability standards. So on that line, we also launched a very specific initiative in Geneva with the Geneva government, and I would like Gianfranco to give us some ideas and updates, which is this idea that if you have done a COVID test, and you have an immunity certificate, normally in our days, that immunity certificate is a piece of paper or eventually an email that you get, but it's nothing digital that you can use in order to prove that you have done that immunity test. So we came with the idea to develop an application, which will be also embedded into the WiseTravel application with the name WiseShelter, that allows you to digitalize that test. So let's say I go to a doctor, a clinic, and I get an immunity test. I want to be able to show that immunity test real time attached to my identity without giving away my identity. Because many of those COVID apps, now that they are being developed around the world, they are not very friendly in what concerns the data and geolocation that you are providing, because you're associating your identity with geolocation. We have a big issue in Switzerland where it's a big debate whether Google should know where I am at the same time and I am providing the Swiss COVID identity app information. So what we did was segregating, means that the identity is encrypted with your public key. That means the user encrypts the identity, but the certificate, which is the one that we get, which is anonymized, is digitally signed by that identity, which is a proof of evidence. And then that is demonstrated. So if I go to an IATA airport anywhere in the world, or I board into a plane, I just need to show through a smart QR code, which is generated by that identity, that I have done the immunity test and I am not infecting at that specific moment of the action I am taking. Obviously, it has many issues. Obviously, there are people saying, should we create a distinction between people with immunity and people without immunity? There are obviously all kinds of issues that we are trying to address in that project. but for the time being has been an amazing learning curve for us on trying to solve the issues that Christine and Pascal and all of you guys have raised, which is the privacy issue. You know, I am willing to do a lot of things on the digital age, but I don't want my identity to be abused, and I don't want the consent of my private data to be outside my own personal